Hey all, Hiba here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're looking at the top 5 horror games on Nintendo Switch. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and of course like and share, and also comment if you have anything you want to add to the video. Alright, so as you might have guessed, the first game on our list here is Resident Evil Revelations for Nintendo Switch. Now, to be fair, you could pick any of the Resident Evil games for this particular place on the top 5, but this happens to be my favorite, so I have added this in. So Revelations, well, it is an older game, right? But it is a game that brings the classic survival horror feel back to the series, the Resident Evil series, right? Because it's set on a creepy, isolated cruise ship, and you play as Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield, and you're battling mutated monsters and uncovering a sinister conspiracy. So, you know, pretty much as par for the course in Resident Evil. So what makes Revelation stand out is its kind of perfect mix of, tension and action. The game keeps you on your toes with plenty of jump scares, dark corners to explore and horrifying creatures. And of course, there's limited ammo and health, again, what we're used to in the Resident Evil games. So this makes every encounter feel like life or death, like a real struggle. It's classic Resident Evil, but it is with a modernized gameplay, but not as modernized as the more completely new entries in the series, like Resident Evil 7 and stuff like that. It still retains what made the original Resident Evil so great. So that's why it is my pick as number 5 here. But like I said, you could pretty much pick any of the Resident Evil games and pop them in here on spot number 5. So coming in at number 4, we have Layers of Fear, and there is a Layers of Fear 2, and again, you can pop any of those games into this spot here. They are basically the same thing. This is, of course, a psychological horror masterpiece, and in my opinion, one of the best available on the Switch. You play as a painter trying to complete his masterpiece in a mansion that's haunted by his own tortured memories. So what makes Layers of Fear so unnerving? It isn't just the visuals, although they are great, and perhaps with a little bit of slowdown on the Switch, but it is, more importantly, the psychological elements. As you explore the house, the environment constantly shifts and changes, playing pretty naughty tricks on your mind. Rooms that weren't there before, paintings that distort, and creepy whispers echoing in the background. This game is all about messing with your perception of reality. So Layers of Fear isn't about cheap jump scares as opposed to Resident Evil. So there's a little bit of everyone in this top 5 here. It's more about creating an atmosphere of constant unease and, feeling strange. And it does that brilliantly. So if you're looking for a more cerebral kind of horror, this is probably the game for you. While if you're looking more like the action part of Resident Evil, that's also on the list, obviously. So at spot number 3, we happen to have Doom 3. And you might say, Doom 3? Doom isn't really a horror game. But trust me, Doom 3 is full of terrifying moments that will make you jump out of your seat. So it's set on a Mars research facility overrun by demons, and you fight your way through dark, claustrophobic hallways with nothing but your weapons, limited resources, and of course your flashlight. So in my opinion, what makes Doom 3 such a standout on the Switch is the intense atmosphere. I mean, sure, it's action-packed at times, but it also has those moments where you're walking through pitch black corridors and the sound of distant growls and whispers send shivers down your spine. You'll constantly be checking your corners, trust me. I do it all the time. Because in Doom 3, the monsters could be lurking anywhere, and they have a habit of also spawning in behind you, which is a little bit of a cheap shot, but it is part of Doom 3, right? So it is the perfect mix of action and horror, and it is a game that knows how to keep the pressure high while delivering the scares. So at number 2 we have one of my favorite games of all time. Now again, this is an older game, Alan Wake. It's more than 10 years old, probably are more like 15 years old by these days. And this is the remastered version of Switch, or on the Switch. So Alan Wake, it is a game that blends psychological horror with a gripping narrative, and it is inspired a lot by writers like Stephen King. You play the game as Alan Wake, a best-selling author who's trying to unravel the mystery of his missing wife, while at the same time facing off against creepy, shadowy enemies in the dark. So what makes Alan Wake so special is its atmosphere. It's really unlike anything else on Switch, or in my opinion, any horror game out there. The game plays with, light and shadow in such a way that you find yourself desperately trying to keep your flashlight charged and your enemies at bay. The writing is also top-notch, creating a story that kind of makes you feel like you are playing through an episode of a psychological thriller TV show. The fact that the game actually also looks like it's straight out of an episode of X-Files, of course, also helps a lot. That's actually one of the best parts, I think. So if you love a good mystery and enjoy horror with a deep story, and also very, very smooth and interesting combat, then Alan Wake will pull you in and never let you go. In my opinion, it is a must-play for fans of narrative-driven horror games.
Hello? My name's Ripley, Amanda Ripley. I need your help.
Please take a seat.
So here at number 1 we have Alien Isolation. This is, without a doubt, the best horror game available on the Nintendo Switch. And not just because it is a great horror game, but also because it is a technical tour de force in what you can squeeze out of the Switch's hardware. So if you're a fan of the Alien franchise, or you just love survival horror, this one is a must-play. It's set aboard a massive abandoned space station, and you'll be stalked by the terrifying xenomorph, a relentless, terrifying creature that hunts you down through the corridors. So what's so terrifying about Alien Isolation? Well, it's not just the alien, it's the sense of, the constant tension. The game doesn't give you guns and ammo enough to actually fight back. I mean, you cannot even hurt the alien really with your guns. Instead, you got to rely on stealth primarily, and also distractions, and of course hiding, which makes every encounter nerve-wracking because you really cannot fight off the alien. If you happen to be a fan of the Alien movies, you will recognize a lot of settings from particularly the first movie, and everything kind of looks like it was just taken straight out of the Nostromo from the 1979 Ridley Scott movie. Now, the premise of the game is that the alien is totally unpredictable. You never know what it's gonna do or where it's gonna pop up, except for a few scripted instances, particularly at the end and beginning of the game. But once you are just playing, through the middle part of the game, you will not have any idea when the alien shows up and what it's gonna do. Now, the alien isn't the only enemy in the game, but it is the main, obviously, the adversary you really have to be careful with. And with everything else, stealth, sneakiness, and traps is the way to actually progress in the game, other than just hiding, of course. So the tension is so thick that you can cut it with a knife in this game here. So if you want an intensive, immersive horror experience that will definitely keep you on the edge of your seat, Alien Isolation is definitely one of the best horror games on the Switch, and one of the best horror games ever made. So that was my top 5 of the best horror games on the Nintendo Switch. So let me know in the comments if you agree, or if you have anything I have possibly left out. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and of course, like I said, comment. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there.